Boarded-up storefronts, desolate downtown areas, municipal administrations desperately trying to manage budgets that refuse to cooperate. Does this sound familiar? Could your own city be facing a similar fate? While towering skyscrapers continue to gleam and the hum of traffic persists, a silent emergency is developing just below the surface. What occurs when the tax base vanishes, public services disintegrate, and essential bills remain unpaid? Some urban centers in the United States are already precariously balanced, burdened by debt, diminishing populations, and commitments they cannot realistically uphold. The world has seen a whirlwind of events recently, and it's crucial we examine them closely. Stay with us as we delve into these significant developments. We believe understanding these situations is vital for everyone. These aren't isolated incidents in remote small towns. They involve major metropolitan areas, places that were once flourishing, but are now experiencing significant decline. Is your hometown teetering on the brink of failure? We're about to dissect the 10 U.S. cities most susceptible to collapsing first, should the economy take a downturn. We'll explore the underlying factors contributing to their vulnerability, painting a picture of the challenges they face. The conclusions from this analysis will be presented at the end of the video. Support our channel by subscribing and hitting the like button. Your engagement is incredibly important for helping us grow and continue bringing you this content. We also invite you to leave a comment telling us where you're watching from. We love hearing from our diverse audience around the globe. Please understand that the video thumbnails are created to capture attention and might not always perfectly mirror the actual content. They are artistic representations designed to engage viewers. We appreciate your understanding and hope you find the video informative and engaging. While we aim to provide precise and valuable information, this video serves reference and educational purposes only. The content represents a compilation of viewpoints and insights, selectively gathered from articles, social media posts, public forums, news sites, and online discussions. We do not claim absolute accuracy, nor is this video intended as an official or authoritative source. Viewers are strongly encouraged to conduct their own research, compare information from multiple trusted sources, and approach all online content, including this one, with a critical and discerning mindset. This video does not intend to target or discredit any individual, organization, or nation. Its purpose is not to determine what is definitively right or wrong, but rather to encourage thoughtful reflection and highlight lessons we can learn from current events. Please watch with an open mind, reflect thoughtfully, and thank you for being part of this journey with us. Let's begin with number 10. New York City. Known as the city that never sleeps, New York stands as one of the wealthiest urban centers globally. However, concealed behind the dazzling lights and billion-dollar skyscrapers, a serious issue festers. Something profoundly wrong is unfolding beneath the glittering facade. New York City is submerged under an overwhelming debt exceeding $171 billion. Astonishingly, this figure doesn't even encompass future pension obligations, adding another layer of financial strain. How does a metropolis renowned for its ceaseless activity manage to operate on fumes? The fragility of its financial underpinnings might surprise you. The foundation is proving to be far less stable than appearances suggest. The city's financial burden translates to approximately $71,400 owed per taxpayer. This staggering individual debt highlights the scale of the fiscal challenge. If a significant economic crash were to occur, the iconic Big Apple could potentially decay from within. The consequences would ripple through every aspect of city life. Schools face underfunding, essential services are being drastically cut back, and crime rates are alarmingly on the rise. These are not abstract problems, they directly impact the daily lives of millions of New Yorkers. While the city's wealth might appear limitless, the mounting bills tell a different story. The obligations continue to pile up, creating immense pressure on the municipal budget. Compounding this issue is a demographic shift. More people are moving out of the city than are moving in. This exodus raises a critical question. Who will be left to shoulder the financial burden? Who remains to foot the bill for the accumulated debt and ongoing expenses? The dwindling population exacerbates the fiscal strain, making it increasingly difficult to maintain services and meet financial commitments. Have you ever considered the potential consequences when a city of this magnitude begins to falter? The New York City we recognize today might look drastically different in just a few years if these trends persist without significant intervention. The very fabric of the city could unravel. Make sure to watch this video until the very end, as we will be summarizing the key takeaways and providing our concluding thoughts on this critical issue. Now, let's look at number 9, Chicago, Illinois. Positioned as the heart of the Midwest, Chicago is a city of immense cultural and economic significance. But what transpires when this vital core starts showing signs of weakness, when its rhythm begins to falter? Chicago finds itself buried under a colossal debt of $38.2 billion. This figure alone is cause for concern, but the city's fiscal health rating further compounds the issue. Chicago has received an F grade for its financial stability, a clear indicator that alarm bells are already ringing loudly. The implications of this poor rating are far-reaching, suggesting deep-seated problems within the city's financial management. You might be taken aback by how many essential lifelines have already been severed in Chicago. Major retail chains are abandoning the city, leaving behind vacant storefronts and contributing to economic stagnation. Entire shopping districts, once vibrant hubs of commerce and community life, now stand eerily silent and deserted. This decline is not random. It's a symptom of underlying issues. What drives this decay? It's a toxic combination of high crime rates, burdensome taxes, and years of financial mismanagement. These factors have created an environment where businesses struggle to thrive and residents feel increasingly unsafe and financially strained. The weight of this financial predicament falls heavily on the shoulders of Chicago's residents. Consider this stark reality. Each resident effectively owes over $40,900 just for the city to break even. This isn't merely a budget gap, it's a glaring warning shot, signaling a potential crisis of immense proportions. The sheer size of this per capita debt underscores the severity of Chicago's financial woes. So, when the broader economy inevitably experiences a downturn, how long can Chicago realistically sustain itself? How long can it keep the lights on when its financial foundations are so precarious? We aren't just discussing a minor slowdown. We're contemplating the potential for a complete collapse. If you still believe that major cities are immune to such failures, the situation in Chicago serves as a sobering reality check. The stability of even the largest urban centers cannot be taken for granted. Let's examine number 8, Honolulu, Hawaii. Imagine crystal clear waters, gently swaying palm trees, and pristine beaches. Honolulu represents a dream destination for countless travelers worldwide, a tropical paradise featured prominently on nearly every bucket list. But what if this idyllic image conceals a starkly different reality? What if, behind the picturesque postcards, lies one of the most financially fragile economies in the entire United States? This is the surprising and concerning truth about Honolulu. It's a city where breathtaking beauty distracts from an impending financial disaster, a potential catastrophe brewing just beneath the surface of paradise. Honolulu is grappling with severe financial instability. The city has received a failing fiscal grade, indicating significant weaknesses in its financial management and long-term sustainability. Adding to this precarious situation is the substantial taxpayer burden. Each resident carries a financial obligation of nearly $31,700. This significant per capita debt highlights the depth of the financial challenges facing the city. The cracks in Honolulu's financial foundation are widening rapidly, threatening the stability of this seemingly perfect island metropolis. You would likely never guess that this stunning island city is billions of dollars in the red, struggling under the weight of its financial commitments. Guess what? The financial difficulties run deep and are multifaceted. Honolulu's economy is heavily reliant on tourism, which acts as its primary lifeline. However, this dependency makes the city extremely vulnerable to external shocks. What occurs when global travel patterns shift, slow down, or halt altogether, as witnessed during recent global events? During the pandemic, the impact was devastating. Over 220,000 jobs vanished statewide, and Honolulu bore the brunt of this economic fallout. Hotel revenues plummeted, Small businesses were forced to shut down permanently, and property values experienced significant drops. Even now, many businesses and individuals haven't fully recovered from this economic blow, highlighting the fragility of an economy so heavily skewed towards one sector. The city government's spending habits further exacerbate the problem. Honolulu spends approximately $1.50 for every dollar it earns. This unsustainable burn rate would be problematic even in the most robust economic climate, but it's particularly dangerous for a city with Honolulu's vulnerabilities. This consistent overspending indicates a lack of fiscal discipline and puts immense pressure on future budgets. And here's the kicker. The cost of living in Honolulu is the highest in the United States, even surpassing notoriously expensive cities like San Francisco. This extremely high cost of living places an immense burden on residents. While residents struggle to afford basic necessities like housing, food, and transportation, the city continues its unsustainable spending patterns, digging itself deeper into debt. The infrastructure is aging and requires significant investment. Homelessness is on the rise, creating social and economic challenges, and public workers are owed massive pension amounts that are not fully funded. This creates a perfect storm of financial pressures. Do you still believe paradise lasts forever? Reconsider that notion. A single sharp economic downturn could unleash a financial storm upon Honolulu far worse than any hurricane it has ever weathered. The beautiful facade could crumble, revealing the unstable foundations beneath. Ever wonder what happens when the economy dries up in a place surrounded by water, seemingly isolated from mainland troubles? You are about to find out as we explore the potential consequences for Honolulu and other similarly vulnerable cities. Moving on to number 7. Portland, Oregon. Portland was once celebrated as a beacon of creativity, progressivism, and unique culture. It was a city where young people flocked to embrace new beginnings, launch innovative businesses, and enjoy a lifestyle perceived as free and forward-thinking. It cultivated an image of quirky charm and environmental consciousness. However, in recent times, it feels as though something has gone profoundly wrong, altering the city's trajectory and tarnishing its once shining reputation. The narrative surrounding Portland has shifted dramatically. Portland, Oregon, has quietly slipped into a precarious financial state, earning an F grade in fiscal health. This failing grade is a significant red flag, indicating deep-seated problems with the city's budgeting and financial management. If you delve beneath the surface, beyond the craft breweries and independent bookstores, the reasons for this decline become apparent. Many observers now suggest that Portland is teetering on the edge of collapse, a stark contrast to its former image as a thriving urban center. The combination of factors contributing to this situation paints a concerning picture of the city's future. The financial figures are undeniably harsh. For every $1 of revenue the city generates, Portland's government has committed to spending $1.40. A significant portion of this spending is allocated to pensions and post-employment benefits, many of which lack adequate funding. This fundamental imbalance between income and expenditure is unsustainable in the long run. In simple terms, the city is operating consistently in the red, relying on unstable revenue streams and temporary fixes while hoping the underlying problems go unnoticed by the wider public. But people are noticing. The consequences of this financial instability are becoming increasingly visible. Rising costs of living, escalating crime rates, and a noticeable decline in business confidence have shaken the city to its core. These issues are driving away residents and businesses alike. Once bustling commercial corridors are experiencing a thinning out of activity, with notable vacancies appearing. Big-name stores, once staples of the retail landscape, are disappearing from Portland's downtown and neighborhood districts, further contributing to the sense of decline. Guess what is even more alarming regarding Portland's situation? Population growth, once a hallmark of Portland's appeal, has slowed dramatically. In some neighborhoods, the trend has even reversed, with more people leaving than arriving. This demographic shift has serious implications for the city's financial health. When residents, particularly younger, working-age individuals, leave faster than they are replaced, the tax base inevitably erodes. This shrinking revenue pool makes it increasingly difficult for the city to fund essential services and meet its financial obligations. And that's precisely when a city can truly begin to crumble from within. Portland currently faces over $2.8 billion in unfunded liabilities, a staggering sum that represents future promises the city may not be able to keep. The economy is also vulnerable to tech sector slowdowns and the ongoing shifts towards remote work, which impact commercial real estate values and related tax revenues. Portland is walking a treacherous financial tightrope. Can a city renowned for reinvention find a path back to stability? Or are we witnessing the slow unraveling of a place that once symbolized everything modern, creative, and bold? The future of Portland hangs precariously in the balance. Before we move forward, make sure to hit that subscribe button and support this series. It helps us bring more of these deep dives to your screen. And trust us, we've only just begun exploring the vulnerabilities hidden within America's cities. More cities, more shocks, more truths are coming your way. Let's consider number 6. New Orleans, Louisiana. You hear the vibrant sounds of trumpets echoing through the streets. You see the colorful beads thrown during celebrations. It always feels like a party in New Orleans. But beneath the lively jazz music and the festive Mardi Gras masks, a more somber reality exists. Behind the dazzling lights and cultural richness, the city is quietly sinking in financial quicksand, facing challenges that threaten its long-term viability. Welcome to New Orleans, Louisiana, a place where vibrant culture thrives, yet the municipal balance sheet tells a story of significant strain and bleeding resources. This is a city still grappling with the long-term effects of Hurricane Katrina, still working to recover from the economic impacts of the COVID-19 pandemic, and now confronting a looming fiscal cliff that most residents are unaware of. The cumulative effect of these challenges puts New Orleans in an incredibly vulnerable position. You would be shocked to discover that New Orleans received an F grade for its fiscal health. This failing grade signifies that the city owes substantially more money than it brings in through revenue, a fundamental imbalance that jeopardizes its financial future. Compounding this issue is the significant taxpayer burden. Each resident carries a financial obligation of over $21,900. This means every person living in New Orleans is essentially saddled with a silent bill, whether they realize it or not, reflecting the city's accumulated debt and unfunded promises. Revenue gaps continue to widen as expenses outpace income, while public infrastructure, already stressed, continues to crumble under years of chronic underinvestment. Essential systems like roads, water lines, and public buildings are in dire need of repair and modernization, but the funds are simply not available. Furthermore, New Orleans exhibits an over-reliance on the tourism and hospitality industries. While these sectors are vital to the city's identity and economy, they are highly susceptible to economic downturns, natural disasters, and unforeseen events like pandemics. When travel slows, the impact on New Orleans' revenue is immediate and severe. Add to this the hundreds of millions of dollars the city owes in unfunded pension and healthcare obligations for its public workers, promises made that it simply cannot afford to keep in the long term. So, what happens when the next major recession hits, or another disaster strikes? How long can the city continue to operate before the bills simply stop getting paid? Essential services hang in the balance. Public workers, emergency services like police and fire departments, and funding for schools are all potentially on the chopping block when finances become critical. Resilience is a hallmark of New Orleans, but resilience alone cannot pay the mounting bills or bridge the widening budget gaps. The city's unique charm remains, a testament to its enduring spirit, but the financial mathematics don't lie. When cities face this level of fiscal distress, they don't typically collapse with a sudden bang. Instead, they often fade quietly into a state of broken systems, underfunded services, and desperate budget measures, a slow decline that erodes the quality of life for everyone. Thinking FEMA or federal aid is a perpetual safety net? Reconsider that. What happens when the next hurricane rolls in, and the emergency funds are already depleted? New Orleans might be resilient, but it's facing a financial storm that could prove insurmountable without drastic changes. Now, let's turn to number 5. Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. As one of the oldest and most historically significant cities in America, Philadelphia stands as the birthplace of independence, a city steeped in national heritage. Its iconic landmarks and brick buildings tell stories of the nation's founding. However, beneath this rich historical tapestry, Philadelphia is currently navigating a financial freefall, a crisis hidden behind its famed Liberty Bell and historic streetscapes. It's not liberty that's ringing loudly these days. It's the city's financial warning bells. Philadelphia has earned a failing grade in fiscal health, a stark indicator of its financial instability. The city carries a significant taxpayer burden, with each resident owing nearly $27,600. This per capita debt ranks among the worst in the entire nation, highlighting the severity of the financial strain. Yet guess what? Most residents remain unaware of just how dire the situation has become. The city government consistently spends more than it earns, year after year, relying on unstable revenue sources and temporary one-time fixes to patch massive holes in its budget. This unsustainable approach has created a fragile financial structure. The city's debt is relentlessly climbing, services crucial for residents are shrinking due to budget cuts, and pension funds for public workers are severely underfunded. These are not abstract concerns. They translate into real-world consequences. Trash pickup delays become more frequent. Libraries close their doors or reduce hours. Emergency response times slow down, and roads crumble from neglect. These are tangible signs of a city struggling to maintain basic services, and these issues are already manifesting. If a full economic collapse were to occur, the situation in Philadelphia could rapidly deteriorate from difficult to utterly unlivable. Philadelphia currently holds over $11 billion in unfunded liabilities, promises for future pensions and health care that the city lacks the funds to fulfill. Making matters worse, this staggering number isn't decreasing, it's actively growing, further mortgaging the city's future. Combine this crushing debt with a shrinking middle class, declining public school enrollment, and an exodus of younger residents seeking opportunities elsewhere, and the warning signs become impossible to ignore. The city's economic base is eroding just as its financial obligations are ballooning. If the national economy takes a significant nosedive, Philadelphia won't have a financial cushion to absorb the shock. Instead, it faces the prospect of falling into a deep fiscal crater. But here's the part that hits hardest. This crisis isn't just about abstract numbers on a balance sheet. It's about the direct impact on the lives of Philadelphians. The erosion of public services affects everyone, diminishing the quality of life and undermining the city's ability to function effectively. Do you still believe a city's historical significance makes it immune to failure? The precarious situation in Philadelphia suggests otherwise. History offers no protection from fiscal reality. Before we move forward, take a second to subscribe and turn on notifications. Your support helps us continue this important work, bringing stories like these to light. Every like, every follow helps us dig deeper, ask the hard questions, and reveal the truths most people miss until it's potentially too late. There's so much more to uncover, and trust us, the next city on our list might just surprise you with its hidden vulnerabilities. Consider number 4, St. Louis, Missouri. Once proudly known as the gateway to the West, a vital hub during America's westward expansion, St. Louis now finds itself potentially becoming a gateway to financial ruin. At first glance, with its iconic arch and rich history, you might not suspect the deep fiscal trouble brewing beneath the surface. But behind the skyline and the historical charm, St. Louis is battling a profound fiscal crisis, a situation so severe that the city could collapse if the economy takes a significant negative turn. You would likely be shocked to learn that St. Louis is ranked among the worst cities in America regarding fiscal responsibility. Data from independent watchdog groups like Truth in Accounting consistently assigns St. Louis a D grade or lower for its financial health. This poor rating reflects years of mismanagement and unsustainable financial practices. The city is grappling with a growing taxpayer burden and a shrinking population, a dangerous combination that undermines its financial stability. Right now, the city owes more than $1.1 billion in unfunded pension and healthcare promises alone. These are bills for future obligations that St. Louis simply cannot afford to pay based on its current financial trajectory. These unfunded liabilities represent a massive ticking time bomb on the city's balance sheet, But guess what? The economic engine that once powered St. Louis, predominantly manufacturing and industry, has been in decline for decades. Factories closed, jobs disappeared, and people followed, seeking opportunities elsewhere. The city's population has plummeted by over 60% since its peak in 1950, leaving behind a legacy of crumbling infrastructure, vacant buildings, and a significantly eroded tax base. This demographic decline means fewer people are contributing taxes while the city's expenses continue to mount. Every time a resident moves out, it translates to less money available for essential services like road maintenance, school funding, and public safety. The people who remain are left shouldering an ever-increasing share of the growing debt. Public services have already begun to deteriorate, reflecting the financial strain. Crime rates in St. Louis are consistently among the highest in the nation, further impacting the quality of life and deterring potential residents and businesses. Schools struggle to maintain basic standards due to inadequate funding. With fewer than 300,000 residents remaining, the city's fundamental ability to sustain itself is in serious jeopardy. So, what happens when the next inevitable recession hits? When federal and state funding dries up, and the already strained local revenues decrease further? For St. Louis, there might be no safety net left to catch it. The city could face a complete breakdown of essential services, accelerating its decline. It's a sobering reminder that even cities with proud histories and iconic landmarks are not immune to the harsh realities of fiscal mismanagement and economic shifts. Let's examine number 3, Dallas, Texas. It's big, it's bold, and it appears to be booming. Or is it? With its gleaming skyscrapers and a reputation for being business-friendly, Dallas projects an image of robust economic health and rapid growth. It might surprise you then to learn that this Texas powerhouse is carrying substantial financial baggage, enough to potentially crush it during the next significant economic downturn. The outward signs of prosperity might be masking deep-seated fiscal vulnerabilities. Despite its rapid growth and development, independent watchdog organizations have assigned Dallas an F grade for its fiscal health. This failing grade signals serious concerns about the city's long-term financial sustainability. The numbers behind this rating don't lie. Dallas is facing more than $3 billion in unfunded liabilities, primarily related to pension and retiree healthcare obligations. This represents a massive financial hole that the city currently cannot fill. Furthermore, the gap between what Dallas owes and its ability to pay is not shrinking, it's widening, putting increasing pressure on its finances. Every taxpayer in Dallas would theoretically need to contribute over $13,500 immediately, just to cover this existing shortfall. This substantial per capita burden underscores the scale of the challenge. But guess what's fueling this precarious situation? Dallas has been heavily depending on borrowing and optimistic future revenue assumptions, projections that might not materialize if the economy falters or growth slows. Relying on future prosperity to cover current obligations is a risky strategy, especially given the cyclical nature of economies. While property values in Dallas are currently rising, so are the costs associated with maintaining a rapidly growing city. Infrastructure, including roads, utilities, and public transportation, is aging and requires significant investment to keep pace with demand. Additionally, the city's police and fire pension systems are facing serious financial trouble, adding another layer of complexity and strain to the municipal budget. All of this is occurring while Dallas races to accommodate population growth that is outpacing its available resources. This rapid expansion, while seemingly positive, puts immense pressure on existing services and infrastructure. And here's the particularly concerning part. For all its apparent wealth and growth, Dallas lacks a truly robust rainy day fund. Such a fund could provide a crucial buffer during a major crisis, whether it's an economic recession, a natural disaster, or another unforeseen event. Without this financial safety net, the city is dangerously exposed. The facade of prosperity is real, but underneath lies a budget stretched to its absolute limits. If the national economy wobbles, Dallas won't be immune to the effects. In fact, given its underlying fiscal weaknesses and lack of reserves, it might be one of the first major cities to feel the cracks appear, potentially leading to severe service cuts and financial instability. Before we continue, Take a moment to subscribe and turn on notifications. Every like, every follow helps us dig deeper, ask the hard questions, and bring stories like these straight to you. Because most people never hear about this until it's too late. Let's look at number 2. Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. Once an undisputed industrial powerhouse, a city whose identity was forged in steel and defined by industry, Pittsburgh presents a complex picture today. While it has made strides in reinventing itself, the city is still quietly weighed down by billions of dollars in debt and legacy obligations. What happens when the foundations of the Steel City begin to show signs of rust under financial pressure? The numbers might surprise you, revealing vulnerabilities hidden beneath the city's gritty pride and historical significance. You might be shocked to learn that Pittsburgh owes over $1.5 billion in long-term debt. Critically, this figure doesn't even include hundreds of millions more in unfunded pension and retiree healthcare promises, commitments made to former public workers that the city currently lacks the funds to meet. This creates a significant financial overhang. And here's the kicker. Each taxpayer in Pittsburgh would need to pay nearly $16,000 just to cover this financial hole. This isn't just a minor budget issue. It's a major red flag indicating serious fiscal challenges. Pittsburgh's pension system is still underfunded by nearly 30%, meaning there isn't enough money set aside to cover future payouts. This shortfall poses a significant risk, especially if investment returns falter or the economy slows down. When the next downturn inevitably comes, Pittsburgh could be forced into difficult choices, cutting essential services, delaying crucial payments, or raising taxes on an already strained population just to stay financially afloat. Basic services like public transit, policing, and even garbage collection could be affected. Nothing is off the chopping block when municipal finances reach a critical point. Adding to the pressure is Pittsburgh's aging population. With a growing number of retirees drawing from the system and fewer younger workers contributing, the city's economic base is weakening. This demographic imbalance makes it increasingly difficult to fund services and meet obligations. Who pays the bills when the contributors shrink and the dependents grow? It's a city attempting to rise from its industrial past, but if the financial floor beneath it collapses due to economic stress or mismanagement, Pittsburgh could fall much faster than anyone anticipates. Yes, sectors like technology and education are growing in Pittsburgh, offering glimpses of a diversified future. However, the city's overall population has declined by more than 50% since the 1950s. This massive population loss has left behind hollowed-out neighborhoods and dramatically shrunk the city's revenue base. With fewer taxpayers and higher costs per capita, the city now spends more just to maintain existing services, essentially treading water financially. It's a city trying to adapt, but the weight of its past and the uncertainties of its future create a precarious financial balancing act. Finally, let's examine number 1. Miami, Florida. Sunshine, skyscrapers reaching for the clouds, speedboats slicing through turquoise waters, and luxurious high-rise condos lining the coast. This is the image Miami projects to the world. But beneath the glitz, glamour, and vibrant nightlife, Miami is confronting a potential financial storm that few are discussing, until now. This coastal paradise is facing a convergence of risks that make it uniquely vulnerable. You might be shocked to discover that Miami carries nearly $2 billion in unfunded pension and retiree healthcare obligations. This represents a massive debt load that is growing faster than the city can manage. The promises made exceed the funds available, creating a significant long-term financial risk. Even more concerning, Miami operates on an incredibly thin financial margin, spending almost every dollar it takes in, leaving virtually no room to breathe or handle unexpected crises. In fact, the city has earned a failing fiscal grade, placing it among the most financially vulnerable municipalities in the country. Making matters worse, Miami is also one of the most climate-vulnerable cities in the United States. Rising sea levels and the increasing frequency and severity of hurricanes already inflict millions of dollars in damages annually. Yet despite these clear and present dangers, the city continues to underinvest in long-term protective measures and infrastructure upgrades necessary to mitigate these climate risks. Essential infrastructure needs upgrades to withstand future storms and sea level rise, and insurance costs for homeowners and businesses are skyrocketing, adding another financial burden to residents. At the same time, housing affordability is in free fall. Wages are failing to keep pace with the rapidly increasing cost of living, particularly housing costs. Homelessness is rising as more residents find themselves unable to afford shelter. Amidst this growing affordability crisis, developers, crucial to the city's real estate-driven economy, are reportedly becoming more cautious, with some pulling back on new projects. Tourism and real estate are Miami's economic lifeblood, but both sectors are highly sensitive to economic downturns and environmental shocks. A significant hurricane or a sharp recession could devastate these industries, leading to massive job losses overnight. Without a diversified economy or substantial emergency reserves, Miami could spiral downwards rapidly. Add the soaring cost of living, and you find residents already stretched to their breaking point. So, the critical question is, what happens when the money runs out, the weather inevitably hits hard, and the accumulated bills come due? It's not just a beach town, it's a major city walking a perilous financial tightrope, uniquely exposed to both economic and environmental catastrophes. We've looked at 10 cities, 10 potential ticking time bombs, each facing a unique combination of financial pressures, from iconic skylines like New York and Chicago to historic neighborhoods in New Orleans and Philadelphia, and even sun-drenched destinations like Honolulu and Miami. Each of these places stands on shaky ground. Debt is rising. Populations are shifting in complex ways. Infrastructure is aging. Pension obligations are massively underfunded, and the safety nets are wearing thin. The truth is, collapse doesn't always arrive with a dramatic bang. Sometimes it's a quieter, slower process. A budget cut here, a neglected road or bridge there, a gradual decline in essential services. Then, one day, residents realize their city is no longer the place it used to be. When the next economic crash hits, and history tells us it eventually will, some of these cities may lack the resources and resilience to recover. They might fade into shells of their former selves, caught in a downward spiral of declining services and dwindling opportunities. If this exploration has opened your eyes to the hidden fragility beneath the surface of America's urban centers, please support our channel. Subscribe so you don't miss our future investigations. Like this video to help it reach a wider audience. And share it, because someone you know might be living in one of these cities, unaware of the potential risks looming just over the horizon. We have more cities, more in-depth stories, and more crucial truths to uncover. Until then, stay alert, stay informed, and keep watching.